Hey, if you have never been here before, but you think this place is pretty dope, make some noise. Can we just give a round of applause for the crew that came here early and had no clue what to expect from our event, but set this up pretty damn well for the number of curveballs we threw them? And we got started a few minutes behind, but it's cool. We'll just cut one of the parts I was going to do. You'll hear from all the speakers just as much. We'll have just as much fun. And if anyone wants to stick around for a few minutes, we'll stick around and let people answer questions after that are here. And anyone that's got a roll can roll, because I want to respect your time, one, for being here, and two, for blocking your time off, because I know that everybody here is legit. You're not here by accident. So if you're in this room, I just want to recognize not just that you took the time and energy to come here, but that you sold a decent amount, some of you a ton, of real estate last year. There's nobody in this room that just brought bagels or donuts. There's nobody in this room that's new to the industry and sold nothing last year. There's nobody, like, everybody here was already pre-qualified. So could y'all just give yourselves a round of applause for that? And that doesn't just go for the agents, that goes for the affiliates in the room as well. So if you meet someone in the room and they do title, inspections, insurance, mortgages, whatever, they're not just like another lender or inspector. They're one of the cream of the crop, best of the best. They're referred by other agents like the ones that are on stage, oftentimes literally the ones on stage, and they support this platform on a long-term multi-year deal. So what that means is they're not like, sure, we'll bring some bagels, or sure, we'll throw $100 at this one thing to celebrate agents. They're like, we want to celebrate the best of the best for the next few years. Can y'all give them a round of applause for that? Because I think that takes a different level of commitment, and it tells you who's serious about building relationships with you guys. So we got a bunch of awesome speakers today. Two of them aren't here today if you haven't seen our flyer change. So if you're wondering what happened, we cut TJ and Tom. No, I'm just kidding. TJ and Tom had some schedule conflicts, and we decided that we probably squeezed too many speakers in anyway. So we'll bring them on the next one, because I'm pretty sure this thing will go well enough that we'll want to do another one. What do you guys think so far? When I walked in, I had never been inside, just to be honest. I saw a lot of pictures, and I walked in, and I was like, okay, this will get tight, but it's going to be really tight. So it's going to be fun, and we might as well come back. So hopefully they'll let us come back, and we'll do probably 2 more of these this year. And my guess is that in the future, we'll have a little bit more collaborative discussion, so it's more of an exchange, not just like the top agents exchanging ideas, but more facilitating some combos, because there's a ton of wisdom collectively in this room. And I've learned that when we unlock the collective wisdom of a group, it's always more information than we get from someone at the front of the room. Is that true? Real quick. Hey, sponsors. Hey, y'all. This is only a curtain, so be careful. No, it's cool. I just wanted to tell people. All right. They're all going to talk in a second, so we'll give them a minute. So, all right. I think we're ready to roll. So anyway, you'll see on the screens as the slides go, you'll see, I think the slides are going. Actually, I don't even see this. Ashley, can you make sure that this thing's rolling? Because it seems like it's not really moving. It's just showing the same slide. But anyway, you'll see if we fix this, you'll see the slides for next month. We will be back at Orlando Family Stage. How many of you guys were with us at Orlando Family Stage, the Black Box Theater, last month? Raise your hand. Only some of you? Nobody was at Orlando Family Stage last month? Really? All right, damn. All of you guys should be at Orlando Family Stage next month, because we have another session of RP Playbook. We're interviewing some of the top agents in the city. We'll have Mel Bernstein, Jenny Sloan, Mark Rowmaker, and maybe even some special guests. And we'll be going really deep with each of them, talking about how they grew their business. So at some point, we'll figure this out. I'll mess with it when the speakers start. But you'll eventually see how to sign up for that. A QR code will come up and whatnot. Y'all ready to go? Dave, you ready to go? All right, everybody, has everybody been told they can get food at least? Is there anyone still waiting on my, okay. As long as y'all just keep sneaking through, grab it as quietly as you can. Sponsors, y'all ready to roll? Make some noise if you are.
We're ready.
That kind of worked, right? All right, we'll kick this thing off. Let's give it up for these sponsors. Each of them's going to take, by the way, these people all stepped up to make this thing happen here today. And let's give them each a round of applause. They're going to take 60 seconds to tell you what they do. And it's not long enough to explain everything, so make sure you follow them, shout them out, and come on out. Let's just do this thing. Jody can kick us off. Come on out, come on out, come on out.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jody. I am the Chief Sales Officer at Red Door Title. So we are a boutique title company. We serve all of Florida. We do real estate closings, but we do so much more. So we believe that every closing is a new beginning. Whether you're working with investors, first-time home buyers, people moving on to their next chapter, we provide an elite closing experience. So we are an extension of your business. We want to find out your why, your growth plan, your business model, and what drives you forward. We are actually so grateful and excited to be here today to support some of our partners. So if you'd like to learn why some of the best in the industry choose to trust us with their clients, we'd love to partner with you and connect. Thank you.
Okay. No, I was like, whose turn is it? Good morning. This looks awesome. Erin, you put together an amazing event. A packed house is always a great house, but when you're coming to hear from the very best in the industry, I understand why you showed up here today. So I'm Jocelyn. I am with Home First Lending. I'm honored to work with a lot of familiar faces here in this room. I think one of the things that we can agree that you're going to hear today that is that your relationships do matter, right? So who you work with is going to make a difference in growing your business. By working with a lender that you can trust, I think that you're putting yourself in a better position to be able to convert more business. So at Home First Lending, we've been around for 20 years. We're a local brokerage, but not only that, but we not only do your traditional stuff, but about 35 to 45% of our business is closing with non-traditional financing. So we're saying yes, more than maybe the lender that you're working with. So give me a call. Come say hello. I'm Jocelyn. I'm with Home First Lending, and I would love to work with you. And I look really forward to hearing from you guys today.
Oh, she's just passing it straight to me. All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy spring break. Listen, if I had kids, I probably would have chosen to be here too, right? Instead of on a road trip. So I'm Victoria. I'm with Hatfellow Productions. We do your listing media services, photography, videography. And I just want to say, hey, thanks, Aaron, for giving me a pretty quick plug. He said that he rented this place on photos only, right? Hadn't even come in here yet. So that's the power of photography when you're looking at venues for renting and properties to sell. Your photos really are going to do the selling for you. So I'm Victoria with Hatfellow Productions. You all know my husband, Marlon, with the big hat. Give us a call whenever you need us for your media services.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike with Central Florida Building Inspectors. I'm really happy about this venue because it's literally like a quarter mile from my house. So it's super, super convenient. That being said, convenience is key when it comes to your home inspections. We have 23 inspectors and we go coast to coast, from Ocala down to Sarasota, Flagler down to Melbourne. So wherever your clients are going and shopping, even if it's not kind of in your farm, if they want to go out that way and you're going with them, you can get the same consistency of an inspection from us, whether it's in downtown Orlando or out on the coast or somewhere out in the middle of the woods where they're buying 12 acres and farmland. So we're a full one-stop shop offering all the services you need. So you're not waiting for another inspector or some other specialist to come out. So I'm going to get done wasting time and hand it off.
Alrighty, good morning, everyone. For those who don't know, I'm Peyton with Gallagher Insurance. Gallagher is the number 3rd ranked global insurance brokerage in the world. So we're a massive company, but our agency gives the mom and pop vibe in Lake Mary. But we've got about 30 different new business agents that will shop the markets for all of your clients in the state of Florida. I think that's all I've got. Who's next?
Morning, everybody. How are you? Good? Show of hands. Anybody ever have a deal that goes sideways at the end due to financing? Yeah. I'm Stacy Lino with Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, and we know this happens, right? It happens because the lender potentially that you chosen or not chosen, that happens too, right? That you don't get to help them choose. The lender doesn't strategize up front with you, doesn't look for red flags. They just take the client's information and treat it like a transaction. That doesn't happen in Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, doesn't happen on my team. That is our sole purpose. The other purpose that we have is to make you look good, okay? Because mark my words, your reputation is everything in this business. And if you're in this room, quite frankly, you know that, right? You didn't get here because you do a bad thing, you do bad business or you don't know how to sell. Sometimes things don't close because of the wrong partner. So if you are interested in somebody who will strategize, be responsive, and help your reputation soar, I would love to talk to you at sometime today. And if you're interested in joining, I have a Zoom call every Friday at 9:30 in the morning. Please see me afterwards as well. Stacy Lynn, Atlanta Bay Mortgage, home loans with heart and strategy. Thank
Love
you.
it. Love it. Hey, Dane, you gotta turn me. Try that again. There we go. But turn that up. Keep going. I'm sorry. Keep on going. Keep on going. A little bit more. All right. Y'all give it up for all the sponsors. Dane, keep it going like 10%. All right. I'm going to bring up the speakers, and I feel like most of you guys have heard from them enough times. So we'll start with the top producing one last year. At least I think. I don't actually know. On my list, she's the top producing one. You guys can debate whether or not the teams are counted properly. But Jenny Weimertz helped 775 families last year. Wait. Go back. Why are you pulling that away? I'm trying to read it. All right. 775 families served for over $400 million in sales in 2025. She runs a boutique team-based brokerage, Weimert Group Realty. And she's perennially the top agent in the top few agents if we count differently. But she's always the top agent every year that we rank this stuff, or at least within the top 2 or 3. If we counted teams perfectly, I'm sure she'd be the top team in the city pretty much every year for the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. So let's give a giant round of applause because I'm going to just bring them up so that we don't waste a ton of time. Jenny's going to go first. She's here to talk about the importance of a robust database. And the second, I'm gonna have you guys get up and give her a giant roaring round of applause, like maybe even jump on your feet so we get a good video of it. But the one thing I do want to say is, we kind of already get this, but we're doing our best here with whatever. This place has never had us here. So I just want to say thank you guys. Be flexible, be grateful. If we have a little issue or there's a seat missing, give up your seat or fill into the side. Or if it gets hot, we'll tell them to turn the AC on. The mics might go out, like whatever. We're going to figure this thing out and roll the best we can. Because what I know is that the real value today is in the people in the room and connecting with those people. So without further ado, let's give a giant round of applause to Jenny Weimer. Where is? Do you already have this?
No, I don't have
Put
the
there for you, I promise.
Okay.
Is this the right?
Hey guys, sorry about my voice. We're gonna have to power through this thanks to the current pollen conditions out there. But what a great introduction. I appreciate that. And always love to be able to give back here. But so today I'm going to be talking about some things that are pretty obvious. They are considered basics, they're considered the foundation, and pretty easy to implement, but not everybody does. And so, it may sound kind of basic, but I really want you to hone in and ask yourself, are you doing these things? Because in order to do all of the really big, sexy things like be found on ChatGPT, you have to have the foundations in place, right? And so, if you look out there at all of the agents that are really winning, it didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen by luck. It has happened because they are consistent and they have a consistent brand and they put in the work every day to maintain that. Okay. So that's what we're going to be kind of talking about today. I'm going to be holding a clicker, a mic, and my notes. So hang in there with me. But okay. There we go. So we're going to be talking about 4 different things. The first one is building the consistent brand. And the brand is more than the colors, logo, and picture. Okay. Your database is the foundation of your business. Your database is not what's in your phone and your Facebook likes and people and your past clients in a spreadsheet. That is not a database. So we're going to talk about a database. We're going to talk about a layered marketing strategy. That's not the shotgun approach. You want to make sure you're putting your money where they've already seen you. So where are they seeing you? Coming back behind that with digital, personal and, visual. How are they going to find you? And then how do you maximize your listings? We are all underutilizing our listing content and our listing opportunities. Okay, so How do I know? Thank you. How do I know when my time is up? Somebody give me 5-minute warning. Okay. All right. Hey, has anybody seen that picture before? Anybody? It became a clip art picture of Jenny Weimer for 15 years. Just recently changed it. That's a circa 2009 photo. We used that photo on purpose for a very long time because it really became our logo. Because when we realized on Zillow and Realtor.com, the only thing we had to differentiate ourselves was our photo. And so by having a different photo on each site, because I got a new, prettier photo, or having, changing it all the time, when a consumer keeps going back in there, they're not quickly recognizing that's me. But we realized 15 years ago that we're going to use that photo. It was not offensive to like men, they're going to think I'm smart, I'm wise, I'm old enough, I know what I'm doing. And to women, they're not going to be afraid to call me because of their husbands, right? So it really became a perfect clip art of a real estate agent that lasted a long time. We had this on our signs, we had it on all of our collateral, and it was on every portal because nobody cares about your logo. Nobody understands a logo. They want to call an agent. They don't get me when they call, but they have somebody to ask for. They think they're getting me. And so that photo it means a lot, and that was the start of understanding how that consistency builds. And don't change it every other day because, especially if you're in that portal game and you have listings, because that's that layering. So back in the day, I would have, my magnet on my car driving through the neighborhoods. I would have the picture on the sign. It was on my office. Every time they went to the post office, they'd see that picture. They would see it on all of the portals. So they remember that. Okay, so I'm not saying keep your photo for 15 years for God's sake, and especially don't use it as a speaker photo because then people gasp when you walk up here 15 years later. They're like, "Oh my God, what happened to her?" But I've seen that happen. I've just it's in my head. So anyway, when's the last time you've Googled yourself? Do all of your profiles say the same thing? Do all of your profiles have the right company name attached to them? And do all of your are you by reading your profile and it sounds like you wrote it 5 years ago? When's the last time you got a testimonial on those profiles? Are they recent? And your testimonials, are they saying what you're good at? So when you're asking for testimonials, which is everything right now, because ChatGPT and all Claude and all the rest of them are scraping these testimonials because they put a lot of weight in third party, um, you know, uh, confirmation, or I'm not going to come up with that word. But testimonials matter. So don't just say, "Can you send me a testimonial?" Say, "Can you send me a testimonial? Would you please mention my name, mention the area and the city and maybe even subdivision where you bought the home?" Because when ChatGPT goes and scrapes, they're gonna know you're an expert in Oviedo, Florida, because of these testimonials. Okay, so testimonials across all the platforms, maximize them. I personally like them to be written in first person, but that's up to you. But at least have them match. So as an exercise, as you're networking, Google each other and give each other feedback. Like, can, can I find your phone number if I Google you to call you and give you a referral? Anybody ever try that? Try to give a referral to somebody and you have to go be a investigator to find their phone number? Don't do that. Don't be a secret agent, right? So that's my little high horse. Um, is your brand recognizable? Again, we kind of covered that. And then your reputation matters. So the client testimonials, play into that, the reputation. But guys, how you treat other local agents, how do you treat the vendors? How do you behave in transactions? That all matters too, because you need a good word of mouth. If somebody out there says, I work with, I'm interviewing agents, Jenny Weimer's one. Don't you want them to say, oh, you'd be in great hands with anybody? Or, yeah, or, like in a party and they're saying Jenny Weimer, they're like, oh, I've heard great things about her. Or I work with her as a roofer and she's amazing. I got that text yesterday. Like, so how you show up matters. Don't let that ego get in the way of taking care of everyone in your orbit and on the other side of transactions, right? Bullying doesn't get you far. It might win you today, but it's not going to win you forward. And as a team, we learned early on, we win a lot of opportunities because of how another one of our teammates managed a situation or treated an agent on the other side. So because we call ourselves we mates, a we mate did a good job with one transaction, they're eager to use us and know our transaction managers are going to be good, that we're professional, and that we care about our clients. So all of that matters when you're trying to win, okay? Database. I'm sure you've all heard, I mean, this is not, this is not new. But are you doing it? Are you feeding your database every day? Are you adding the people that you come into contact into your database? What are you doing with them when you get there? If they're just in there as names and phone numbers, you have a phone book. I'm sure you've heard that before. But when you start adding, what do they do for a living? Because every person that you come into contact also has a database. They also know so many people. They also have other opportunities for you if you just open your mind up and ask. Do they run a company that relocates people here? Do they have are they an influencer themselves that could make a difference in your world? How can you help them so that they can help you? And then also family, friends, blah, blah, blah. So put them in your database and then we use Follow Up Boss, tag them properly so it can be sortable. It's easy when you're starting and you have, 10 closings a year, but when you're up to 200,000 people in a database, it needs to be sortable. And you need to be able to like for us, we tag any incoming lead with zip code, city, what they inquired about, price point. So when we get a listing, we can go search what leads have come in that city, that price point, so we can match make. Right? That's the big picture, but you got to start doing it every day. And so whether you're buying leads or not, making sure that you are cognizant of adding people to your database and have a plan for them. If they own a home, put them on a home bot or a market watch or there's so many other ones, but so that they can learn about what their home is worth every month. I guarantee you they'll open that every month and they don't delete it because who else is sending them that information? If they're a buyer, if you have a newsletter or whatever, put them on that. I'm not a big fan of drips, especially unnecessary drips. Have, pop buys or connections, just be genuine, especially in a day of AI. Be human, be more human, touch them more human. Well, don't go and touch people. That's not good. But, sorry, I get, all right. Also, while you're starting your database or if you've already started, it's a disaster, go in and find your top 20. The people who are likely referred to you or are referring to you, especially the people who can give you more than one deal a year, those are the people you need to be face to face with, whining and dining. Okay. So really just think through your database. Get everybody out of the socials into your database. Get everybody out of your phone into your database. It's not too late to go back and find all of your past clients in MLS. Go back and get them in and start sending them reports and whatever it may be. So get that database in order. All right. layered marketing strategy we kind of discussed, but who are you targeting? And then layering it. What you don't want to do is go to the home and garden show at the convention center, spend a bunch of money for a booth of people that are never going to see you again. You don't want to shotgun, postcards to this neighbor and then postcards to that neighborhood. You're never going to see a return on your investment. But if you are listing in your farm, you want to do postcards. You want to do maybe the door knocking. You want to do the signs in the community. Everything is communication to those people in that neighborhood. When they drive in, they see you. When they get that call, they've already seen your sign. When you call to give them their sold price, they've already seen your sign. So layer as much as possible. If you are focused on, like, Karen's going to be teaching farming, if you're a Waterford Lake superstar like Karen Wilkins, then, if you're going to do a booth, you might want to do the Taste of Waterford. So they've seen your flyers, they've seen your your signs, and now they're going to meet you face to face at this booth because that's who's going to that event. I hope that makes sense because I'm going to move on. List to last. We've all heard that. And, back in the day when we actually got our own leads on our listings, that was very true. But we can still hack the system and get our own leads on our own listings. The secret right now is open houses. Because I don't know if 5 minutes. Oh, okay. 2 and 3 minutes. Okay. The secret though is open house. People are now waiting until the open house to come see the property. They don't feel the need to hit the button right away to schedule that showing. So if you have an open house on that first weekend, that's the hack. They're not hitting the button. You are beating Zillow. They're coming to you at your open house. And so that's sort of how we're kind of, taking our control back there. But when you take a listing, you are gathering, think of all the things you're gathering. You're gathering professional photos, a video, 3D walkthrough, neighborhood information, the floor plan, views, design updates, staging, builder info, community photos. Like it goes on and on, right? To be a good listing agent, you've gone deep, and that's the package you're going to present to the community. Well, it all dies on that listing. Don't let it. That's all content. And so if you have a system around your listings, make sure you're, using those to, tell that seller story market data, use it to build your brand. So every listing is your billboard. So just because it's a low price, don't skip out on and use your iPhone. So every listing is your billboard. Build your brand, show quality, professionalism, generate leads like we talked about, landing pages, marketing, open house. Make the content, turn one listing into reels, carousels, emails, blogs, because all of that is evergreen content that is scraped, right? And then SEO and GEO, use the city names, neighborhood names, community features. And you want to go extra on those areas that you are claiming you're a specialist of, right? So if you're going to pick and choose when you're going to do that, always do this on the areas that you say you're a specialist. But, this can all be outsourced. That's a checklist. You get all the content and then you chop it up and turn it into a checklist and deliver it. And then it lives on. So don't lose track of what you're doing with your listing content. So it's simple, but not easy. And just make sure you're paying attention to the foundation of your business. 10 deals for every 100 people in your database you should be able to count on. And it does become predictable. All right. There you go.
Love it. Let's give it a giant. All right. How many of you guys? Ashley, you can pull up the next one. How many of you guys learned something so far? Make some noise. All right, here's what we should have said earlier. And if you didn't get one of these cards, you can raise your hand and I'll have somebody help me give out. There's a few index cards at the front. I got a stack here on hand. Did anybody not get one of these cards? Because here's what I want you guys to do, and I should have explained this at the start. If you have a question that you want to ask one of these people or you want to ask in general, just jot it down on these cards. Me and or Ashley will be coming around and grabbing them, but that's how we'll make sure that we get your questions to the stage without this being a whole big thing where we take a ton of time handing microphones around. Is that cool? So if you have a question for these people, just jot it down. We're going to bring all of them up at the end, and the quicker we get through them, the longer we'll have, the longer it takes, the less time we'll have with them, but we want to make sure we get everyone's questions so that we can get through that part effectively. So if you need one of these index cards, raise your hand. Just put your hand up really high if you need one of these cards. All right, sweet. Mike will get it to you if you do. Otherwise, we're going to keep this going. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, y'all want to keep rolling? Let's bring out Ken Posick. His team, Ken, you want to answer some questions about the stats just so I don't get this wrong?
Yeah.
How many views a month do you guys generate on YouTube or on social media?
On social media, in November, we got like 12 million impressions in November of 2025.
12 million impressions. What did the team sell last year?
Just 400 million.
Okay, and how many people are on the team?
We have 52 people. Of that is 33 agents.
33 agents. What are the other parts?
We have full staff. So we've got videographers, writers, systems integrators. We got director of sales back there. Dylan, what's up, dude? We've got a lot of people that help make the world go round.
All right. And where did you move here from and when?
I moved here from Detroit, Michigan 10 years ago.
10 years ago. And how many people did you know here when you moved here 10 years ago?
I knew Mickey Mouse.
You knew Mickey Mouse. And what did you sell your first year when you only knew Mickey Mouse?
11 million.
And what did you sell your second year?
24 million.
What about the third?
32.
Fourth?
47.
Fifth?
Remember, I think it went 72, something like that. Yep.
Where are you at today?
We're already at 181 million year to date.
And what did you finish the year last year at?
400.
Y'all give a giant round of applause. Who's ready to learn something from Ken Posick? I'm going to get out of the way. Let's make some noise. He's going to kick this thing off. Let's roll, Ken.
That was it. Where's Jenny at, by the way? Jenny, super legend. I moved here 10 years ago and she had no right to like have lunch with me. But I was like, everybody everywhere in Orlando knows Jenny. And I keep saying, like, if you want to be somebody, look at Jenny. And so I asked her to lunch at Cooper's Hawk. She was super kind to actually meet with me and like pump me up. And so I always say, like, she's the person I'm aspiring to be. So give it up one more time for Jenny Weimer. All right, so today we're in scaling with social. I think Aaron put up a little bit around not using Zillow or Realtor.com. That's kind of what we do. I mean, we think Zillow and Realtor.com are a way to get business, just not the way that we choose to get business. So if you're in the room and you're a Zillow person or Realtor.com, that's totally fine. It's just we choose to do business a little bit different. So this is my team right here. Again, we got about 52 people on the team. 2016, that's my family and I, we moved here. The first thing I knew when I moved here in 2016 was cold calling. I was an agent in Detroit when I first moved here, and I was like a Mike Ferry guy. So it was cold calling. It's all I did. It was turn and burn. How many people can I talk to in a day? That turned into appointments. Those people turned into sales, and I was on to the next person. So I had no social media experience, no media experience at all. It was all just this. And then this is what our life looks like today. Slightly different than cold calling. It's me hanging out, interviewing the mayor. It's people at Universal asking us to cover Universal opening. It's interviewing, billionaires, people that in the area. And it all came back from this idea that I wanted to build a media company that happened to sell real estate. And so Zillow is a media company that sells you leads, right? So how do you just get in the place of entertainment? How many people, you guys smarter people in the room would know more than me, but I heard Zillow had something like 3 million leads come through last year, but there were only 3 million sales in the country, something crazy like that, right? So it's like, how is that possible? It's because people jump online and they're interested. They want to know more about their area. They want to know what their home's worth. They want to know what that house down the street, well, I heard that they were doing a kitchen remodel. Let me see more about it. And so we just decided, instead of paying Zillow, we would just kind of create our own media attention. And so this is kind of what that looks like. Again, going back last year, we closed 400 million. This year, we'll close hopefully $500 million with no Zillow, no Realtor.com, no Homes.com. By the way, is anybody crushing Homes.com? Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, just curious. Who knows what this is, by the way? Can you guys see this over here? Please don't break it. Do you know what that is? Anybody? NASA space station. Thank you for at least trying. Anybody else? Okay, cool. So this is actually the Bloomberg terminal. Who's ever heard of Bloomberg Media? There we go. A couple more people. So if you've not heard of Bloomberg Media, it's owned by Mike Bloomberg. He's worth $96 billion. So a couple $1 billion more than me. That's okay. Mike Bloomberg said, hey, I got to create this machine right here. And what I figured out was that it was the best information about data for the stock market and financial analysis in the world. And yet nobody knew who the heck he was or what he was doing. The crazy thing about it is this thing costs $2,500 a month. And they now have 130,000 subscribers. Somebody want to pull out who has a calculator? You all have a calculator, and it's not 3% of anything. Go ahead real quick. Pull up your calculator. $2,500 a month times 130,000. $325 million a month from selling this. And yet here's the crazy thing is, by the way, did anybody else get the 8%? I'm like super ADD, if you didn't know. Did anybody else get the invite that said 8%? And I'm like, is that what we're charging now? Is that like, I was like, that's so sick. But you all ate the 8%. Anyways, $320 million a month is actually what it is. And so he said, hey, I want to sell this. This is amazing. But nobody knows who I am. And so instead of trying to go around door to door, like I was trying to call expireds, he created a media company and said, hey, you guys know Bloomberg. By the way, what I do for like actually a living is I sell this. And so thinking about that, I'm like, what if we created a media company that happened to sell real estate? If people could know who I was, I'd have a better chance of selling them our product. So this is Mike Bloomberg. It says in his bio, it says, to many people outside of finance, Bloomberg is a media company. That's a little like describing Disney as a theme park operator or Google as an email provider. Out of the Bloomberg's more than $12 billion of annual revenue, only $500 million comes from the media company. The rest comes from the terminal and services. Is that interesting? All right. So traditional media, who woke up this morning and said, and he turned on CNN or Fox News? God bless the two of you. And so this is traditional media. The crazy thing is they create these massive media companies, and what do they put every 30 seconds or 1 minute? Ads, right? And they're selling you Cialis or whatever they're selling you, right? But they're like, hey, we have all the attention, and so we can charge for ads. So our team, we just said, hey, if we could get millions and millions of people to watch our stuff every month, the only ad just happens to be our real estate company. And the cool thing is it works pretty well. So this is the new media. How many of you guys woke up this morning and turned on or opened up Instagram, TikTok, something like that? Say aye. All right, cool. So I'm just out of curiosity to take a little poll here. Who opened up TikTok first? Interesting. Who opened Instagram first? Yeah, those are my people. So I mentioned November 2025. That's the last time I ran the numbers more recently, but 12 million unique accounts reached. Of that, we had 300,000 or so on YouTube, 120,000 emails opened, 9 million views on Instagram, 4 million views on TikTok. And right now we're sitting at 372,000 follows across all of social media. By the way, none of those are paid views at all. It's all 100% organic. Cool. All right. So YouTube, when I first started off, this is my first YouTube video. Lenders in the room, you guys might find this interesting. So I sat down, I'm like, I'm just going to put up a camera and I'm going to talk about HECM mortgages. I don't even remember what HECM stands for, but you can very clearly see he didn't want to be there, and like neither did I. You're right. And I was like, hey, what am I going to do? I'm going to talk about financing because that's what people told me to do. Go on YouTube, talk about things that buyers might care about, right? And I had to change the perception of what is actually value in the eyes of my ideal consumer, because I thought they wanted to know about FHA mortgages. They don't. Maybe they do at some point in the process, but how do I get in front of them a little bit earlier? So I tried a lot of things. I'm like, hey, I want to get agent referrals. So on my same YouTube channel, I said, hey, I'm going to do, what do I shoot my videos with? Nobody watched that, by the way. I'm like a super theme park nerd. So I was like, hey, I'm going to do an office tour. Nobody watched that either. And so about 200 videos in, I did a video that was like the top 10 things you didn't know about Celebration, Florida. It got 150,000 views, and I started getting leads from all over the world. I'm like, what they actually care about is that they want to know more about where we live. And then I want to be the information broker. And then at the end, I can say, hey, if you got any value out of this video, I want to be your real estate resource of choice. Reach out. My number is, and then we've kind of built a whole company around that idea. Okay. So email. Jenny talked about this before. Like, how do you build a big email list. For us, it was they're on YouTube. How do we get them off YouTube and then start getting in front of them every single week? And so for us, we're consistently dripping on them with more value. And so you guys, the thing about Zillow, you don't own that attention. The thing about even Instagram and TikTok, you might have a big following, but they change the algorithm. You don't own that following. So the quicker you can get them off those platforms and into their email box, the better. Instagram and TikTok. So this is interesting. This is the way that we've repurposed media to get more attention, get their email, and then drip on them about real estate. So this is an interesting one. H Mart. Who's been to H Mart, by the way? Who loves it? Why do you love it? Has everything? What's your favorite thing you bought at H Mart? Hot potatoes? Hell yeah. I love that. Cool. So H Mart opens up. I still have not been there because the line was like 2 hours long when the first opened up, if you guys remember. But we did a little story about it. And at the bottom, you can see it was sent over 14,000 times. It had almost 10,000 likes and 1.7, almost 2,000 saves. And you might say, well, Ken, what does that have to do with real estate? Well, because my idea is that I want to get everybody in Orlando or Greater Orlando to know who we are so that when the time comes, it's this jab, 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 right hook. So Gary Vaynerchuk wrote this book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And it's like value, value, value. I'm going to give you so much freaking value that when the time comes, I'm going to hit the right hook. And that's going to be my ask for you to buy or sell houses. And so this is what we do. We mix in our news with listing carousels, and you can notice that these look very different than what most people do in regards to just listing carousels. And Dylan, we're gonna have to change our strategy after today because I'm telling them everything we're gonna do. But here's what we do. Like, we notice we make it look like news because when you're launching a new listing, every listing, regardless if it's a outdated condo with an $800 a month HOA, it doesn't matter. Like, there's something in the neighborhood or locally that people should care about. And so being able to launch this with a huge audience is kind of our idea. And so you see this one, it says home with Disney firework views, pool and putting green. This one got sent 1,500 likes. And I think we had like 700 sends on this one. We ended up getting something like 30 leads from this. And then we ended up double dipping our own listing. Does seem like a little bit different than just throwing it on Zillow, throwing it on MLS and hoping that it sells. Same thing. So things you need to know about carousels as well. So like, I think the newsworthy headline right here is really what the thing is. The photos catch some attention, but then they stop and read the headline. It shouldn't be 123 Main Street for sale or best agent in Oviedo selling house. Like, nobody cares about you. Why is it cool for them is what you should be slowing down to get really good on your headlines. We did the same thing here. You can look at almost every single one of our carousels and these things freaking crush. SEO and GEO, another thing. So we're constantly putting out articles on our website, putting them back into the email. For us, it's an ecosystem. And I'm going to go through kind of the last thing. Aaron's pulling me off the stage, but like, literally there's everything that you can do. You could do billboards. You could do all of these different things, community events, social events. Like, we were the official real estate team of the Orlando Magic, but you guys look at this all and see all the different things that we do. And you say, I want to do them all. And I would encourage you guys today not to try to do them all, because the Orlando Magic doesn't work for us unless we've done all of the other groundwork. It doesn't matter if you have a YouTube channel if you don't then pull them off and do the email. And so it really is sequential, one after another, not everything all at once. It's do that one thing really, really well and then build on it from there. Is that fair? All right. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much.
All right. Hey, unmute me, man. Dane, keep muting me, man. I'll turn myself off. Just leave it on. Are we good? Are we good? Can you turn me up? Keep it going, maybe? Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. A little bit more. All right. Y'all give it up one more time for Ken Posick. Man. You had another minute or two, but it's all good. Real quick, I'm gonna let Mosin, because Mosin came in a second and didn't get a chance to speak. Take your 30 seconds, whatever, 60 seconds. And y'all give it up for Mosin, Florida Home Photo. He's one of the sponsors today. Here, go for it.
Thank you. How's it going, guys? How are you? Good morning. So this weather we're having here, huh? Pretty crazy. No, I'm Mosin. I'm with Florida Home Photo. If you guys haven't heard of us, we do real estate media, next day scheduling, next day turnaround, all that good stuff, free drone photography. But to double down on what Ken was just talking about, everyone's opening social media nowadays. Here's a quick stat. How many monthly viewers are on Zillow? Anyone have that number? No? It's 200 million. And how many monthly viewers are on Instagram? Just add a couple zeros. Yep, it's 2 billion monthly users on Instagram. So social media is absolutely game changing how people sell real estate nowadays. I'm going to call out Ross right there because I was just talking to him the other day. He made a listing video, posted it, didn't sell the house through the listing video, but someone reached out to him and had him list their home through that. Another client of ours, Jonah Garrison, posted a listing video for his Cocoa Beach property. 2 days later, someone saw it, put in an offer. They were under contract in 8 days. So these aren't just like outlier stories. They're literally happening all of the time, which is why we created the Agent Creator Program. We script your content for you. We strategize with you, tell you how to say it, what to say, help you post consistent content to bring in leads, sell homes. And that's our main mission, is to help you win, get more listings, sell your listings faster. If you guys are interested, you can check us out on Instagram. It's just Florida Home Photo. You'll see one of the videos we just posted yesterday, I think. If you comment growth, we'll send you all of the details, schedule a call, and see if it's a right fit. Thank you, guys. That's it.
Love it. Let's give it up. Promotion. Oh, Dan, can you turn me up a little bit more? All right. Real quick, we're going to have a 1, 2, 3 clap on the count of 3 for the sponsors that weren't actually here today, but I want to make sure they got the shout out. So I'll name them all, and then we'll do the 1, 2, 3 clap. We got Blue Haven Pools. We got Shea Walker with Shea Walker Photo and the Vibe Creative. We've got Heather Hurry and her team with the Jeff Mackey team at Pillar to Post. And we also have the crew at East Coast Title and Roof Bids. If you haven't seen Roof Bids, they're an awesome partner and a really cool system. So on the count of 3, let's give them all 1, 2, 3 clap. 1, 2, 3. Y'all ready to keep this thing rolling? Hey, to keep me going up a little bit, Dane. All right. I'm going to let Corey come up next. Instead of giving him some giant introduction, his background is entirely... Whoa. I don't know what that was. So now I'm, we good? Now you can't hear me. All right, for a minute? Yeah. All right, Corey. That one's off. All right, Corey comes from a background in timeshare with Marriott. He was basically a heavy hitter in the Marriott days. Jumped into real estate because he was frustrated because he could be better than the agent he was working with, something like that. Is it kind of true? All right. Long story short, Corey really knows sales, like sales process, salesmanship, understanding people, reading people, psychology, all that stuff. This guy is a master at, and you'll actually hear this just in his mindset. He's got one of those mindsets that's just stronger than, like, he will outwill probably every agent. Like, there's a reason he's in the top 25 agents in the market or so, and he's only how many years in real estate? Fourth. 4 years in, sold how many homes last year? 300 something? 350 homes. How many millions so far in your career? 500? A little bit over 500 million in his first 3 years and some change. Is that pretty sweet? So I'm going to put Corey up here. He's a conversion expert, so much so that Zillow's asked him to open teams in places he's not even from, states he's not even from, because they know that he'll convert the leads and train his people to convert the leads. So I'm going to let him mostly talk, but I'm going to jump in and out because I want to help. So he didn't come with slides and all that, and I'm not going to ask him.
He's trying to say as my assistant didn't do all the fancy.
Yeah, no, we don't need a fancy thing. I'm gonna ask him a bit about his sales process and let him tell you about his psychology, his attitude, the process, answer the questions. But here to talk about don't be a tour guide. Sales skills pay the bills. Let's give a giant round of applause to Corey Smith with the Corey Smith Group.
Unfortunately for you guys, I'm coming after Jenny and Ken, right? So I don't got a real formal thing that I do. I just find somebody to talk to and sell them something. So the best advice I can give you is sell something, right? So and I hadn't had my tequila this morning, so I'm a little bit off, all right? But can you get me a nice anejo? That would be fantastic. If you saw my cover, usually we grace ourselves with a tequila about lunchtime. Kind of evens out my mood a little bit because I'm a little moody in the mornings, right? But Aaron's right. So I am just under 4 years in real estate, and we've just sold a lot of houses. I started a small team on accident. Now I'm a team of I think I got about 30 something here, something like that. we write a lot of business. I don't know a whole lot of this fancy stuff about nurturing stuff and databases and all that stuff. I try to teach my agents how to sell something as fast as possible. So there's a lot of different ways to make money I found in real estate. So some of the people in here, they've been around for 30 years. They got a big book of business. They're always going to make a living. We would like to be there at some point. But the reality is I had to figure out how to eat something today. Right? So I came from timeshare. I ran Marriott for many years and Hilton for a couple years. Any of you familiar with timeshare knows you got to sell something pretty fast if you want to eat. So I kind of took that mentality into real estate and I developed a sales process that for my agents, unlike what we see out in the market, two different things, right? I want to clarify this part. Most of the people out in the market are sphere of influence. They're talking to their neighbors. They're harassing people at school and church and all these places, and they don't really want to see you coming. But they do sometimes. You win sometimes, right? We're more of a lead-based program, so I try to hire a certain kind of agent that has a good personality. We don't really care about the real estate part of it, honestly. We have a team that helps the business part happen. But I try to hire right personalities because if you're meeting somebody for the first time, they're choosing you based on how you show up, what you look like, the smile in your face, some company credibility. So we are a little different probably than 90% of real estate teams. We didn't have a big book of business to sponge off of. We had to go out and we had to figure out how to win people at a faster rate. So a lot of our training, we talk about the psychology of what people are going through when they meet you. We talk a lot about I teach people how to meet people. Sounds weird. Most people ain't good at it. So we talk a lot about little things that probably for most, it's people that do it naturally. I have about 15 of my agents. I don't even know if they can turn on the lights. They write a lot of business because they go out and they understand how to interact with the people. You laugh. I'm not kidding. I seriously, I got one lady, I don't even know how she gets back home every night. It's very bizarre, but you laugh, and I'm so serious. But the reality is she has a good personality and she has a good story. So a lot of things that we do, we talk about helping them develop their story, right? And what's special about them. Because the people really, for us, we're a big Zillow back team. You know, we get a couple hundred leads a month from Zillow. So Zillow is kind of like a dating site. I don't know if any of you been on Tinder. Zillow's pretty damn close, right? So you're meeting those people, and within a couple minutes, they're sizing you up and deciding whether you're going to get a second opportunity or not. So we really talk more about what happens in that interaction. Now we've really got the statistics and stuff to back it up. So we really have the agents talk more about, you know, the company credibility and why we're who we are and what Zillow says about us. And we really lean on our reviews. So we just capture more customers faster than everybody. And then we have a very formal back end to the sales process that we usually are encouraging the people to write business faster.
Hey, Corey, can I jump in and ask you some questions about that?
Yeah, of course.
You're rolling. I don't want to cut you off. But tell us about what you say. Like for your team, how do you do what you just said? What are the words you actually use to tell a person about your credibility, your team sales, those things when you meet a lead or connect with them for the first time? What is it that you or your team is trained to say?
I tell them, Google me, bitch. I'm a just kidding.
We're definitely turning that into a reel.
No, but really, you know, I try to explain to the agents that everybody that you meet thinks that real estate agents suck. And that's the real reality. So I try to get my agents to go out and be single agents, but lean on the tools we have because it's very easy to say, Google the Corey Smith Group. Look at our 600 5-star reviews. Look at the 340 transactions or whatever we closed last year. Because these people, you got to understand, this is the biggest purchase of their life and they have a lot of anxiety. So we do everything we can to lower their anxiety and make sure they know we're professionals because their Uncle Vinny, who had a real estate license in 1982, just giving them advice, right? Because we've all run into that scenario, right?
So what can an agent be doing if they don't have as many sales as you and whatnot, but what do they need to do to get their stuff in order to have their credibility look as good as
You
it
need to
can?
lean on the team, right? You got to lean on the people around you because your brokerage is doing business. You know, a lot of it is not being that single agent. It's very few people that have a big enough personality to capture enough business on their own. So I really tell the agents they got to lean on what. Hey, Zillow's right there. It's easy to find my numbers. So we kind of lead with that.
Love it. Let's talk about conversion.
Yes, sir.
Phone rings with one of these leads. Walk them through the conversation and the sales process that you train your people to take someone through.
So my agents don't really answer a lot of calls because that puts a lot of pressure on them.
So let's say that you answer the call then. Walk them through how you would do it.
Which voice do you like? No, no, we just I answer the calls and I distribute to the right agents. You know, the reality is there's a lot of different different methodologies. I got some other flex partners in the room. Everybody does things a little bit different, but again, it's about winning that customer and having them choose you as their agent.
A better question. What are some of the questions you teach your people to ask or that you ask when they come in and they're asking about seeing a home, for example? Like you did, I heard this one with you over lunch. One of the first questions he asked when he said a home was, I wanted to see a home. What did you ask him? Do you remember?
I asked them if there was any other homes in the area you want to see, you know?
Yeah, like simple things like that. I think just if you could walk them through like some of the questions that you want them thinking of and to ask when they get a lead, like what are these questions people aren't asking that you guys are?
I think more of it is not so much the questions that we ask, but talking a little bit about the urgency of the market. Because a lot of the things that we're seeing out there, because we're getting so many people coming into Florida from other states, is that they're watching all the clickbait saying that real estate Florida's imploding. We're falling in a sinkhole. The hurricanes are killing us. They're hearing all this crazy. I mean, I heard a guy told me the other day. I heard my insurance was going to be $50,000 a year. I was like, are you buying a mega yacht? Like, what are you talking about? They're hearing crazy stuff because you've seen all the clickbait ads telling them that Florida's imploding, and I tell them kind of the opposite of that in a very nice way. But the reality is reframing that the customers, because they all come in thinking in our fame is about urgency, right? Those of you been out there working lately, it's getting pretty tough to get deals pushed through. We're back to some multiple offers, and we're seeing some stuff out there that if you're not active in the real estate world, the customers have no clue what's going on or how difficult it is to find good houses at good prices and actually get a deal done. So we reframe the customers a lot really early in our process so they can understand that it's not, I tell them all the time, I don't know what's going on in Idaho, but the real estate's busy here. So good day or bad day, it's a great day to buy a house, right? I hear agents out here telling customers, man, real estate's been really slow. That's crazy. How are you going to encourage that person to buy something if you tell them something that crazy? I hear agents on tours passing me by telling me the real estate market is slow. Well, how are you going to get that person in a hurry to buy something? Doesn't make any sense. So some of it is what they say common sense is not so common.
You're on a roll. I didn't want to cut you off, but if you're looking at me, talk about some of the stuff you're doing to create more urgency. Like, what are some of the conversations you're actually having to create urgency, and what are some of the objections you get and the ways that you handle them?
So we have two weekly trainings with our team by Zoom, and I kind of always set the tone for my agents on what the urgency is for the time frame. So if it's December, you got to hurry up before the January people get here. If it's January, you got to hurry up before the February people get here. February, you got to hurry up before the March people get here. So in a sales environment, which I think for most of real estate, they don't really look at it as a sales environment, and it is. So I tell people all the time, no offense to the rest of you, that realtors suck. I run a sales team. I tell them on the first day, this is a sports team. We're going to win. This is a sales environment. If you want to go to Keller Williams, no offense to Keller Williams, and learn basket weaving and go to movie night, go do that shit over there. We don't do that. I'm here to make a living. I got an expensive lifestyle and I got to sell something. I'm going to teach you how to do the same. So that's kind of what we do.
And I'll just jump in and any brokerage that's doing culture or social things, I think he means not necessarily a knock on one. But what else? Maybe. What
That's
anything
so
else?
easy to pick at. That's all.
Anything else that you think that you're constantly repeating to your people to make sure that they're following the sales process properly?
Yeah, we're more formal. We talk. He always says, "Don't be a tour guide," because he quoted me on one of the other segments I did. Don't be a tour guide. You're not Vanna Damn White. Why are you out there talking about the curtains and the blinds? I teach my agents, if you're not talking about the business and the urgency and what's happening every day, or you're not having a non-business conversation. If they want to talk about their dogs and they're having a good time and you're making friends with them, that's excellent. But when I'm in the house, I'm never talking about the curtains and the blinds. Unless you're touring Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder, they can see the damn curtains and the blinds.
So what are you talking about?
I'm usually either not talking because I think it's creepy to follow them in a bedroom. Kind of weird, but I see agents do it every day. So either I'm not talking, or when I am talking, I'm talking about the urgency of the market, what's happening in that neighborhood, what's happening with pricing trends, the interest rates being down. We're having a conversation that's building toward a business and building that energy, that urgency, rather than just making small talk. If we're talking about being from Columbus, Georgia, and I know something about Columbus, Georgia, that conversation is great. But if you're just walking around talking about the dishwasher and the toaster oven, by the time you get to the part where you want to talk about the business, they can't hear you anymore because you've been talking to them for 45 straight minutes.
I love that. Any other things that you want to add about sales approach? Things that you tell people they need to know?
Find somebody to talk to and sell something. Listen, I know a lot of people don't like Zillow or don't like lead programs. If you don't have anybody to talk to, you're going to be real skinny, and it's not because of CrossFit. So there's a lot of opportunities out here with I'm not the only game in town. I know Miguel Diaz runs a flex team. He's always hiring. There's a lot of other opportunities in here. And what we find is the agents that are a little more experienced. I mean, $5 million is good. I'm sure you want to make a little bit more than that. Look at some of the people around the room, the Jenny Wamers, the Kim Posicks. They all have different products that make them who they are. You have to find, 5 million is great. I'm not knocking anybody, but you probably want to make a little bit more money than that. Find somebody and attach yourself to them and ask them. Jenny Waymert, I've only known her a couple months. She is a legend. She's been the most gracious to me of anybody I've met in this industry, and she don't need to. She was here before I even got here, right? But the reality is most of the people that I've met around that have that success, they're willing to tell you and help you and, invite you into their circle and tell you what they're doing to make a living. But if you're out here trying to figure it out yourself, it's tough.
Love it, love it. All right, let's give a giant round of applause to Corey Smith. Corey Smith Group. That was awesome, man. And we're going to bring up, last but definitely not least, over 447 transactions across multiple markets in 2025. Runs her own boutique, team-based boutique brokerage as well. And she's not a stranger to the stage. What's really cool is we have two teachers, former teachers up here. So they're like, I don't know if you guys know that, but Karen and Jenny are both teachers. So you'll notice that they will break things down a little different than some others. But let's give a giant round of applause to Karen Wilkins, who's going to talk about farming with a plan for production. And guys, don't forget, any questions you have, jot them down. I will try to get as many as we can at the end. And anything we don't get time for, I'll try to ask them and maybe shoot out a video to everyone that came of answering the questions that we didn't answer that people still had. Is that cool? All right, sweet.
Thank you for not asking me all those numbers questions. He's learned over the years. I have no idea. Is there money in the bank account? Am I making investments? Are my agents getting paid? Do they all have enough money? Good. That's it. I have to ask my assistant how many houses we sell. I don't know any of that crap. So anyhow, okay, I'm supposed to talk about farming, and he assigned us what we're supposed to talk about. And the more I thought about it, first of all, look at me. This is one kind of farming. Represents me, and you'll hear more about that. But when he told me to talk about farming, I'm like, I don't even think I believe in farming anymore. So this will be interesting.
I asked you what you wanted to talk about before I wrote that.
I gave you like 4 things, and you chose the one I thought later that I didn't know if I believed in anymore. So, but I do. but it took me a while to get there. So I've processed through that. So I'm going to tell you about 3 farmers, and then I'm going to tell you about 3 more farmers, and then I'm going to give you some takeaways. So you find your little notes in your phone because you will have some takeaways. First 3 farmers, we have the Roth family, the Peoples family, and the Wilkins family. The Roth family, my son married Mary Roth, whose parents own a real live farm in Florida. They make a buttload of money selling magnolia trees. They do magnolia wreaths. It's a very profitable business. Now, I think in the end, just because we've become close to them, we probably have a similar income, but our overhead is very different. Their farm it takes a lot of energy. They work late into the night. They have a lot of you think the market's volatile? You should own a farm in Florida with storms and freezes and hurricanes. But it works, right? And they've given it all that they have. And that's the kind of farm, when I was asked to talk about farming, that's the kind of farm I was thinking we would talk about that we're not going to really talk about very much. And then the second farm is the People's Farm. My family is from South Carolina, and we own 100 acres. It's really for the rednecks in my family to go hunting on. I haven't been there since I was 8, but evidently they grow pine trees on this farm. And every 15 years, the pine trees get harvested. And then the people who are owners in this family, they all get this big check. Well, there's some energy that goes into that, but unfortunately, that's the way most of you have tried to farm. You farm like a Peoples. You farm like, that's my maiden name. You farm like a Peoples. You just put a little bit of energy, and every once in a while you get some money. Well, you're going to go broke. So we're not going to do that kind of farming either. And then we have the Wilkins farm. And I had 5 kids. I was a homeschooler. I was trying to be grungy. I'm not very good at it, but I was trying to be organic and grungy and all that mess. And a micro farm is what I would say the Wilkins do now. That's not how I started, but that's what we do now. And it's a small focus maybe in your backyard. And it's not necessarily your neighbors, but it's a small focus. And that's what we're going to try to focus on the most today. All right, so now we have 3 realtor farms. We have Miss Jenny Weimer, we have Veronica Figueroa, and we have Karen Wilkins, okay? We're all hanging out in East Orlando about 10 years ago. They're way ahead of me, 10 years ahead of me, but we're all hanging out in the same farm, right? And that was, Zillow was just getting started, maybe 15, I don't know, numbers, not my thing, right? Yeah, okay, 15 years ago, maybe 20, I don't know. Anyways, we were doing this, we're all hanging out. We're all farming the same area. But you know what? This is the first thing I want to say about farming. Jenny, did we get along well? Did Veronica and I get along well? Did the 3 of us get along well? Did we get together? The first thing you need to know is you're going to overlap in farms. And you better make your friends, and you better be kind to people. If you're working in the same farm, you're going to do deals together. Your deals are I've had to call Jenny and say, Jenny, this agent of yours, she's thinking the washer's supposed to go in here, but it's not in the MLS or in the contract, and she's real mad right now. Can you handle that? And then Jenny's had to call me and say, Karen, your insane buyer just did a 1-star Zillow review. Can you handle that? I'll try. She's insane, And so, but we've had to collaborate. So that's my first point in farming is you have to do that, okay? But because I think that's forgotten sometimes, and I think we have modeled it well, and some of you guys don't model that well. You want to hold everything close to your sleeve. I'm going to try to give you some takeaways today. You need to not hold it close to your sleeve. You need to be an open book to each other. You need to cheer each other on. If you're really working hard, there's plenty for everyone. Jenny's closing almost double what I do, but I have more than I need. She has more than she needs. She's able to bless more people than I am because that works out. Stop being nasty in your farm. Okay, that's number 1. Okay. Reason the big farms don't work. Here we go. These are things I just chat GPT'd this. This is why farming is difficult. Weather and climate, financial pressures, equipment and maintenance cost, pest and disease, market volatility, labor shortages, regulations and paperwork, soil health, sustainability, mental and emotional stress. Who feels that? access to the land and expansion. Maybe you don't feel like there's a place for you to belong. So those all, if I had more time, I could take every one of those and turn those into a practical reason why it's hard to farm, especially in this market. And that's why I was like, man, I wish he would have chosen one of those other 3 topics I gave him. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, we're in a micro farm environment, just like I was when I had my 5 kids trying to grow my little garden in the backyard. And so when we define farm today, what we're going to call it is 150 cheerleaders, partners, people that love and believe in you. They could all be in the same neighborhood or they could be all over Central Florida. It doesn't matter. But we're going to define farm for you, 150 of your people, okay? And let's see what I said about that yesterday when I was whipping this out at the call. I'm on vacation this week. This is my vacation outfit. But let's be honest, this is how I always dress. So, except for when I have to speak and then I pretend. So, I'm not pretending today. Okay, so what if you had 150 people who trusted you? What if you had 150 people that loved you so much they wanted to be part of what you're doing? What if you had 150 people that committed to connecting you anytime anything about real estate came up or homes, a plumber, a roofer, a buy, a sell, a rental, an investment? What if you had 150 of those people? What if you had 150 people joining you on a passion project? You want to make a difference in the community. We all feel good when we make a difference. Life is boring if you just are selfish, let's be honest. So go make a difference. So what if you had 150 people that got on board with you and made a difference? Do you know what that would mean in your life? You would have abundantly more than you ever needed. You can make videos, you can do all these things, and they would be great, and that would even supercharge it. But why don't you start with trying to find your 150 people that really, really could stand beside you? Okay. So I'm going to choose 150 people. Do you think all 150 of them will get on board? No. So then that's where you farm. That's where you pull weeds out. That's where you figure it out. So many of you don't know 150 real people. You have 150 people in your phone, but you don't have a relationship with them. So some of you need to start with a commitment. I don't know. PJ, he moved away, but he was a sponsor here last year, but he ended up moving to Colorado. But he was new to town. And what I loved was he's like, I can't go home to my family each night until I get a new name and number today. I've got to go meet one new person I can build a relationship with. So simple, right? Even if he had to walk through his neighborhood and make himself talk to someone, he would not walk in that front door until he met a new person every day. Some of you people need to get relational. You can't, this is a people business. You got to find and know people. So go meet some people. That would be one of the things I would say. The second thing is, some of you guys are freaking selfish. Quit thinking about, I've been wearing these flip-flops for 15 years. Do you think I could go buy me a little $3,000 pair of flip-flops? Yes. Think about what you can do for somebody else. Don't think about yourself all the time. So is it, one things we do is we help Annabelle's Closet. She's here. It's women who've been abused and we get involved and we donate to that. We go and serve there. Find something you're passionate about that you can bring people along. It's easier to build relationships when you're on mission together with something. Let's see. Okay. These 150 people, give back to them. So how do you give back to 150 people? Any ideas? Because I know y'all are bored, so you need to talk. How would you give back to 150 people? Give me 2 or 3 ideas. Great. I have no idea what you said. What'd you say? Yeah, you could say happy birthday. That's great. What else? Find out what they're passionate about. Keep it, like she said, in their database. Know what they're passionate about. When you see something, bring it back to them. Know them well. Okay, what else? How can you give back to 150 people? Refer them business. Yes. And you're what's your vendor? Are you a vendor? Okay, just checking. We were going to refer you some business. What else? How do you give back to 150 people? Yes. You can do a client event, bring them along. You can do seminars, you can train them, you can email them, you can tell them when things are changing in their neighborhood. You can be strategic, build a strategic plan that these 150 people. And then this is, I think, the most important part. Some people do this, they spend all this energy, and you know what they don't do? This is how you pull out the weeds. 20% of those people, because you have brought them into your little farm, your micro farm, 20% of those people are going to be your biggest cheerleaders. 20% of those people will use you. They can stay on the outskirts. They go on the outside of the 150. They're always going to use you and be faithful, but they won't refer you because they are too scared to refer people because that puts their name, people like that probably sees on the disc. And then 60% of the people just need to know that the way you grow your business is through referrals. Just teach them. Hey, every time you meet someone, connect me to that person. And it's that simple. That's what farming is in this culture. Now, when Jenny was farming, Veronica and I were farming, and there were other big hitters in the thing. There was plenty for us, but we could farm more broadly. We did farm broadly, right? And she still does. I still do. There still makes sense. I have 2 of my agents in the room. They both farm their neighborhood. But I was thinking, even driving over here, Pam, how many in your little Fairway Point, how many transactions did you have last year with all the energy we put into that? 1, maybe? 2. Okay. Justine, how many did you have in your little Hartford? 1. So a lot of that kind of traditional farming, but you both had 30 something transactions for the year, right? So if they would have put all their energy into just that traditional farming that you had looked into, would they kind of be in trouble? Yeah, but then they closed in the high 30s, so they're not in trouble because they have bought into this micro farming. They both could tell you, if I said, open your database up, print out your 150 people, they have 150 raving fans that 100% put them in a group text. Do you weekly get a group text pretty much where you're being connected? Pam's not so sure. Justine's positive. She does. She did more transaction than Justine. She's just being humble. So, but with that being said, that's the farm we need to do in this market because it's volatile times, right? And so in volatile times, what we need to do is we need to build trust. It's hard to build trust in a traditional farm, like a whole neighborhood. It's very hard to be loved in a small in a big neighborhood. So you got to hone in. People need to trust you because rates are high, prices are weird. We have a war going on. The world is weird. So they don't want to work with strangers as much unless, like he was saying, he gives confidence. You got to give confidence. Well, it's easier to give confidence when it's a personal referral. That's my 2 cents on that. Okay, now some of you came for big farming. So big farming, here's what I'd say to you. If you're going to big farm, you got to put layers in it. And over time, it will pay off because the truth is I did big farming, not on purpose, more just I had 5 kids and we were deep in the community. And so the layers just started naturally happen. I don't think I was very strategic, but looking back, it was quite strategic, but it was more just doing the next right thing. So, but if you're going to big farm an area, you need to ask yourself, can I give back in a big way 6 times? Because those layers need to happen to the whole farm. So I wrote down some cheaper, free ways to do that. If I can find it here on my wonderful notebook paper. Let's see here. I don't do PowerPoints. Don't even know how to do one, just so y'all know. And I don't even feel like making someone do it for me because it feels like a lot of work. So, here's your 6. Here's your 6. If you're going to do a big farm, 6 free or nearly free things. And guess what? We do most of these things. And yeah, there's people that might do them in my neighborhood because they're sitting here. Go do them. I don't care. I want you to win. Okay. So here you go. Super Bowl bingo. Super easy. Free. You can drop off. You can text in the community group that you're in for that area. You can drop it off at the door. The cost of printing. Do Super Bowl bingo. Let them take a picture of it, send it back to you. It's interactive. When they send it back to you, they have to give you their email so that if the email, now you can add that to your database. You can be entered to win. We did speakers this year. We've done TVs. We've done all kinds of things. It's a great way to farm. Free or almost free. We make our lender buy the price. Okay. Another practical thing that we're about to start doing coming up in a couple weeks is do a spring cleaning contest. Our theme this year is Talk Dirty to Me. So we're going to go around the neighborhoods that we work in and we're going to say, talk dirty to me. Tell me the dirtiest room in your house. Send it back with your email and you're going to text it to me with your email. Now I have stuff to add to the database. And we're giving away a free cleaning for this neighborhood, a spring cleaning. End of school ice cream truck. So few people. It's a great push. You won't spend more than a couple $100. You can get someone to sponsor that and do that for you. Do a neighborhood pizza party. You won't get a big turnout, but it's a great way but then you're starting to build your core people, that then could be added to your 150 micro farm. I love this one. Find your passion. Remember, I talked to you, you all need a passion that you're passionate about. Do donuts and donations. Do it in the spring after your spring cleaning. Do donuts and donations. Get a donation truck in that community and offer donuts and let people do spring cleaning. Find someone that needs to get rid of furniture. Do something. Find what the donation that's needed. Advertise it. Have the truck there to collect it. Okay, then my last one, if I'm layering 6 things in a year, take one of your partners, an HVAC company, a plumbing company, someone who's wanting to expand and grow and give out coupons. Hey, this is my preferred vendor. Here's a coupon. You're helping them. They're becoming a raving fan. You're, again, giving back. Okay. That's as simple as I tried to make it super simple, super practical. Hopefully you got some takeaways there.
Love it. Let's give a giant round of applause to Karen Wilkins. All right. And normally I like to be really picky and tight on the time, but here's what we're going to do. I already asked I asked 3 of the 4 speakers. So Karen, feel free to tell me if you can. But at least 3 of them can stay for an extra 10, 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to let us go for 10 minutes or so Q&A. If somebody has an appointment they have to run to, feel free to sneak out in a second once I tell you one more thing. But I'm going to let them all come up and just answer a couple questions so that we don't kick everyone out when most people have the questions and most of them seem to have the time. So if you have to sneak out, we'll forgive you. But here's what I do want to say. How many of you guys are ready to join us next month, April 16th from 9:30 to 11 at Orlando Family Stage? Make some noise. We have from Mark Raummaker, Mel Bernstein, Jenny Sloan. And we're going to be talking about how 2 of them have built perennial top 25 businesses and how Mark has quickly jumped into one of the largest teams in the entire area. So anyway, long story short, I'm going to bring them up. Here's what we got to do really fast. Instead of making you guys let's make this easy on y'all. Oh, you already broke them down? All right, well, that's not going to work very easily then. I thought there were 4 chairs here, but there aren't 4 chairs. All right, we'll just do it like this. All right, who has questions from the audience? I didn't really get any of these cards from anybody. Does anybody have a card that you should have had? Here's what I want to ask. Perfect. Yeah, make sure you if you have a card, just pass it up to this end and I'll come grab it. Here's the question I want to ask you guys. How do you evaluate and choose lead gen sources? Like, how do you evaluate it? How do you choose it? And if any of you want to talk about your beliefs on like how many different lead sources you should have or master at a time and that type of thing, I'll start with whoever wants to answer that first. Breaking down your lead gen sources, how you evaluate them, and what your biggest folks.
So last year we had 27 lead sources, but like only 8 actually made us the most amount of money. And so for me, I'm trying to get the biggest ROI, or does it pair well with something else that we're already doing? And so we might only get a few closings here or there from farming, but that is made better because of the YouTube and Instagram stuff we do. So for me, if it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Do you have different ones for different people on your team?
Yeah. So for us, you have to earn into the YouTube channel. You have to earn into the farm. But for the most part, it's people just going through a database of like 50,000 leads that have come through over the past few years that we're going through. So the whole team has a lot of opportunity.
And are some of them picking one method versus another? Like one wants to do more open houses or one wants to do more cold calling or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, everybody leans in a little bit different. Some people love open houses, and that, like for us, we're trying to have 80% of our business come from the team, 20% come from our agents. And so sometimes they'll choose that 20%, and it is networking or open houses or farming or whatever that they're doing on their own. The rest of it is taken care of by the team.
Awesome. Jenny, you want to break it down?
Hopefully. Same as us. We're 80% repeat referral past client, but the lead sources are really just pipeline fillers. So, are they more expensive? Yes. Do they give an agent an opportunity to get to know someone and then build that long-term relationship? And then ultimately that pays off in the long run? Yes. Do you need to retain your agents for that to work? Yes. You can't be on that circle, that hamster wheel of, hiring agents, fire them, put a new one in, then you're always going to be running a really high cost business and make no money. I don't know. So, yes, same.
All right. And what I heard her say, if you didn't hear her say, is that those are just pipeline fillers, meaning that your people still have to be really good at the fundamentals, the basics, and the stuff. You're just pouring gas on top of the fire that they already lit by buying extra leads, but they still have to build the business and run it the same way that anyone else would, is what I heard,
Yeah,
correct?
we kind of look at it like lost leaders.
All right. You guys heard that? Karen or Corey, either of you want to talk about lead gen?
Did
How you evaluate them?
I mean, I don't have much more to say. They said it. I agree.
Corey's got a slightly different philosophy, I think. Do you want to talk about it?
They're a little more established in the market. I try to hire agents 5 years or under in the business that never write more than 5 million, because our model is.
So everyone here is disqualified. Is that what I hear?
Say what?
Everyone in the room is disqualified. I'm just kidding.
There's probably some good looking folks around here we might want to talk to. And more of it is because as real estate, if you don't have this established business, as real estate has changed like pretty much everything else in our world. We didn't have Instacart, we didn't have Uber, we didn't have, all these things that instantly gratify us. Well, real estate's kind of become the same. So for the people that's been around and they already got that history, they're fine. But for the rest of us, we got to change and evolve and be able to move at light speed. And that's what a lot of the different lead sources offer. I say I microwave my business. I probably shouldn't say this, but I made $5 million in my first 4 years of real estate.
So
I don't know what else to say about that.
love it. All right, let's dive into. Let me ask another question, and then I got two more. One comes from the audience, one comes from the signups. Let's talk about how, when, where, why, and why not to build a team. I just want to hear everyone's philosophy about when you know you should, when you're.
When I started this thing, don't build a team.
So Corey says don't. Jenny, or Karen, or Ken. I know Karen's got some thoughts on this one for sure.
I love, I realized a couple years ago, like some of my leaders on my team needed to build teams, because even on a team, there needs to be more resources sometimes. So I think when do you build a team? I remember when I started building my team, Chris Bissett, if you know him, he called me, he's like, oh, according to Gary Keller, you're just doing this way too soon, and you're going to go broke. And then I was like, look, I did it for my lifestyle. Like, I need time. So when do you build team? When you need more time and you have enough money to do it. That's my answer.
Love it. When do you not build a team? Anyone else? Or actually, Ken, do you want to answer when you?
Well, you're lazy. Lazy people should build teams. A lot of people want to build a team to work themselves out of business. Like, team leaders need to be givers and care about their team. They don't need to be lazy people that just want their pocket inflated. But go ahead.
No, I think it's you build it when you're in the overflow. And so I think so many people say, I want to have a team because I want to be a team leader. Well, great. That's a great way to be broke, because like you need to actually provide value to your people if they're going to stay. As Jenny mentioned in the last question, it's like people that stay on your team, they get past clients and Sphere that then come around, and those become a little bit more profitable than you having to go have Zillow or Realtor.com or something like that. And so I think that a lot of people is like, lead with value. For us, we're trying to make it to where we create a world where they never have to leave. So building a team within our team is something that we have. We have got 2 agents on our team that have showing assistants, and we're helping them expand to where they can sell 80 to 100 homes a year. And so that's the way that we look at it.
Did you ever add?
To that,
Yeah, please do.
you want to maximize your talent first. So you hire assistants first, get your systems in order, and then that becomes a value proposition for you to hire and maybe a showing assistant if that's what you want to do, so you can focus on listings. Or maybe you're hiring a listing agent because you don't like listing, whatever it may be, whatever your talent may be, but maximize your talent first. It's cheaper than giving away 50% of a commission to an agent. But getting your staff and your systems all in order, that does become your value proposition, creates a stable environment for a team. Because if you don't have a value proposition and you don't have a stable environment, they're not going to feel comfortable or trust you, and they will leave after they don't feel like you're bringing more value than just coaching.
Yeah, I think the first, you said something that I feel like we need to pull out on is The first person I hired was one of my stay-at-home moms, past clients, and all I hired her for, talking about needing to build the systems, I asked her to follow me around for a year. I said, I don't want to do this wrong, and I want to be able to transfer what I'm doing to repeat it so I can create it. So for an entire year, I just paid her to like kind of, I came from ministry, teaching the ministry, and they had this thing called transferable concepts that we would teach our students to teach other people. And so I was like, can you create transferable concepts for me? Can you just create what I do and then we can repeat it, because I'm not very systematic. So I think I agree with you.
All right. Anything else that anyone wants to add before I ask one more question? Anything? All right. Question from the audience was, how do you feel, and any of you that want to answer, any of you that want to skip it, it's totally cool. How do you feel about the coming soon portal wars and how it will affect, this says Orlando, but either Orlando or the industry?
Jenny's very passionate about this.
It's kind of a non-issue today. So I don't know if you guys realize, but NAR has the clear cooperation rule that requires properties to be put in the market or, in the MLS one day after public marketing starts. So a coming soon is considered public marketing if it's on a portal. So they're all fighting over putting in a listing one day early right now. Okay. Stellar does not allow us to do coming soons. So that's a non-issue today for us. However, are they going to build are they going to build other feeds to feed Zillow or Realtor.com based on their exclusive relationships for one day? And then who's managing that? Who's policing this? And who's keeping that data right? So it's a giant shit show that has been built on one man's ego. And, it's all going to settle out. But it is going to come down to, is NAR going to change their clear cooperation rules? And is Stellar going to change the coming soon rule? And they're quiet, which is why I'm passionate about this. So in the meantime, it's noise. It's just noise.
And this isn't
Keep your head down. What is one day coming soon going to help anybody? You can't sell the house early. You can't show the house early. It actually ties our hands behind our back. And if everybody's doing it, then what's the benefit? So here we are trying to accommodate this 3-level whatever. There's a difference between office exclusives and coming soons. They only are trying to solve the coming soon problem. And then they're still just blatantly breaking office exclusive rules in public marketing, which is a whole nother conversation.
Got it.
So
I got one last question I'll ask. I know this one was directed towards Ken, but I'll ask each of you if you want to answer this. How in the world do you gain access to all the info you share with coming prospects throughout the city? But what I want to ask that's generic to everybody is, what info do you stay in tune with, and what are you reading to stay in touch with where the market's going and what's happening in your area? So start with you, Ken, but any of you can jump in on that.
Yeah, I mean, so we spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on data. So everything from permitting data to OBJ, Growth Spotter, really stuff you can easily pay for. But for us, we want to be the knowledge brokers. So for me, I'm willing to invest in that to make sure that we get the most amount of information possible for our audience and our agents. So for us, every Tuesday morning, we do stand-ups and we talk about here's what's coming to the area. So if you're talking to that lead that wants to buy in Horizon West and they're like, hey, what else is coming to the area? Well, did you know that there's a new medical school coming to the area that's going to have some apartments, but there's also going to be some contingents on real estate around that. And here's what that's going to do in the area. So for us, I'm trying to solve for all the stuff that you can't find on Zillow. And that's the way we spend our time.
Love it. Anyone else want to share where you learn stuff from, or what you keep tabs on?
I've been called a dinosaur 6 times today, so Facebook. I'm just kidding.
How about, what market data do you all look at, though, and how often do you look at it? What market data do you all look at, and how often do you look at it?
I got a nerd in my office.
Okay, so you have someone report to you market data?
A nerd in my office, and he's constantly tracking, new contract starts and what's happening, year over year. And he's just feeding me that stuff. And we're, obviously picking the better parts out, because a lot of it is psychological management. If you all have a team, you become a therapist, you become a a divorce coach. You become, I mean, so a lot of it is managing the emotions of your agents because, and one thing I do in particular is try to head off the ups and downs of the seasonality, right? So that people are saving their money when they need to and they can spend a little bit when they're going toward the season, but kind of just understanding the trends because if you're running around as a solo agent, it's kind of hard to know, hey, the phone hadn't rung in a week. Is this normal or not normal? And usually I'm calling Miguel or one of my other partners going, or Jenny going, what's going on? It feels weird out here. Is it weird at your house? And usually we're all in the same weird space. So we kind of start understanding that. And when we can pass that to the agents, it helps you kind of stay on a more even lifestyle.
Understood. Any other things on
I just
that?
have one person that tells me, and all she does is we're doing good or we're doing bad compared to the market. She's just looking at what the market's doing right now and how we're doing compared to it. And if we're not beating the market, she's like, okay, what tweaks do we need to do? What do we need to? And that's it. We keep it simple. My agents, I feel like that is. I don't like processing that a lot, so I'm like, I don't want to put that on my agents. I just want to make sure I'm presenting opportunity to stay above the market.
Understood. All right, let's give a giant round of applause, everybody. Did you want to add? Jenny, were you going to add something, or I didn't cut you off, did I? Okay, perfect. Just checking. All right, y'all. Giant round of applause to Lizzy's Live for hosting us as well. Was this place pretty cool? Judging by your noise, y'all want to come back here for another session like this? All right, cool. All right, yeah, y'all come join us for a quick photo. Y'all feel free to grab some more food, hang out, thank Rolly and his crew, and we'll leave them a good review if you got the time to jump on Google or wherever. And thank you guys. We'll see you next month at Orlando Family Stage. You got it? Oh, they're already everywhere. Yeah, we lost them.